Job Search Skills. Module 1 Getting Started. Welcome to the Job Search Skills Workshop. Searching for a job can be intimidating. How do you know what job you're best suited for? How do you build a winning resume and cover letter? Where can you find job leads? How do you network without feeling nervous? What happens when you land an interview? And most importantly, where do you find help when you need it? This course will give you the answers to all these questions, plus a plan to get you a new job within a month. After completing this program, you'll be more than ready to start your search for your perfect job. Module 2 Ready, Set, Go. The success of one's career depends greatly on the ability to recognize the job-related values that are important to the individual, as well as the hiring company. Identifying the purpose for working and the assessment of skills can help determine the types of jobs to apply for. The creation of clearly defined SMART goals can give potential employees a concrete plan for the direction in which they would like to steer their career. A robust resource system and 30-day plan can keep the job seeker on track with finding and obtaining the right job. Identifying your values and purpose. In order to be able to sell yourself well and present your skill set and experience as an attractive option to potential employers, you must first identify your own values and your purpose for working. Here are some common purposes for job seekers. Gain an income source that provides for my basic survival needs and some of my wants. Find an outlet for my creativity, skills, abilities, and energies that will not only benefit myself but will help others also. Make a valuable and lasting contribution to my community and to society. Use my college degree for something worthwhile. Do something constructive with my time to avoid boredom. Be in a place where I can meet new people, travel, and gain new experiences. Get out of debt. Save money for the future. Try a new skill and gain new experiences. Fulfill my dreams and my mission in life. Assessing your skills. There are many professional instruments designed to help you assess your skills. These instruments help you identify what talents and abilities you may have to offer a potential employer. Here is a list of common skills that employers find valuable. Setting SMART goals. Now that you have a clearer picture of your skills and abilities along with your purpose and values, you can go about the task of setting SMART goals. SMART goals are goals that fulfill each word described in the acrostic formed by the word SMART. Specific. First of all, the goal must be specific. You may indicate in your goal you wish to become a sales representative for a cosmetic company or a police officer for the state of California. These are specific goals. Measurable. The next characteristic that a SMART goal has is that it is measurable. You may indicate that you desire full-time employment of at least 40 hours per week. Your salary expectations can also be measurable, stating that you wish to earn a minimum of $40,000 per year or more. Achievable. These specific and measurable goals must also be achievable. The first thing to consider is whether or not the job exists. If your town does not have a professional football team, it is not an achievable goal to be the play-by-play announcer for a team that does not exist. Other non-achievable limitations may be age requirements or other considerations. Just because a person of your gender or ethnic group has not been hired in that role before does not make it unachievable. Just ask President Obama. Relevant. A relevant goal is for some a realistic one given your priorities and personal circumstances. Does this goal fit in with the rest of your life? Are you able to fulfill your non-professional duties to your spouse, children, and community with this additional responsibility of employment? Many mothers battle with this issue when considering their responsibility to their children balanced with their desire to be productive and work outside the home. Timed. When do you expect to fulfill your goal? Are there any training periods or probationary periods to fulfill before you're actually hired? How many interviews and how many companies do you plan to talk to before settling on the right one? Set a realistic goal as to when you wish to begin your new profession or job. Building a resource system. Your job hunt will require a basic toolbox full of resources that you can use in finding employment. In your resource kit, you should include the following items. Reference books on job search tips. What Color is Your Parachute? 2008 edition is a highly recommended book. Cover letters for dummies can also come in handy. A briefcase. This is essential to carry with you on your job of selling yourself and your skill set to potential employers. It is great for carrying your business cards, cover letters, and portfolio of your best work. Leather portfolio and notepad holder. Take notes and present your work like a professional even before you get the job. Business attire appropriate for the jobs you are seeking. This may be a dress shirt and tie with a pair of dress slacks. It may include a sports jacket or business suit for males or females. The industry and the climate will dictate the appropriate fashion for the interview. A 30-day plan. You have to accept the reality that finding a job that is going to meet your needs and fulfill your objectives will take some time. It will require effort. If it is a job worth your time, there will be other people competing for the same job. You must be the best prepared candidate there. Having a plan for the first 30 days is realistic, intelligent, and a habit that successful job seekers gladly form. On a calendar, list all the interviews you schedule for the month. On the days you do not have interviews scheduled, you must dedicate your time to acquiring interviews. This will include taking your resume to prospective employers and filling out applications at their worksite. They may schedule you for an interview immediately or take your resume and application and promise to call you for an interview in the near future. Days and times for other activities may include creating a list of potential employers to call and visit, revising your resume if it is not working as you would expect, and polishing your interview skills by role-playing and reading books on the topic. The first 30 days gives you time to form a daily routine of prospecting future employers, applying for jobs, fine-tuning your resume, and asking for interviews. Each time you complete an interview, write down the strengths and weaknesses in your performance. Case study. Todd had aimed for a bright future with his college degree on one shoulder and his excitement on the other. Todd was a ball of energy as he could see all the stars aligned ahead of him due to his winning attitude and core values. He was headed toward great places, and his friend Simon was inspired to search for his own mission and his own keys to success in the workplace. Todd showed Simon the ropes and taught Simon to look past the obvious and uncover the deeper meanings and values of being more than a puppet, and showed him how to spread his wings with hard work and dedication as a ladder to bigger and brighter ideas. Module 3: Building your resume. Your resume is one of the most important parts of the job-seeking process. Whether you are chosen for an interview or not depends a great deal on the professionalism demonstrated in your resume and the language you use to communicate your skills, abilities, and experience. In your resume, you must put forth the strong impression that you are the best option for the company's employment needs. Basic resume formats. There are a few basic formats worthy of consideration for writing a professional resume. Essential information to include: full name and contact information, telephone numbers, email and street address, and fax numbers if necessary. If you have a professional website, this would also be important to list. Avoid putting social networking sites that are for personal use. Work experience related to the position you are seeking. Work experience not directly related to the position you are seeking. This shows other skills and experiences you have in your larger picture of work history. Education and schooling relevant to the position. A summary of qualification or skills and abilities you bring to the job. Awards and recognition. References. You may choose to say references available upon request or list them on the resume itself. Chronological style resume. One traditional resume format is a chronological presentation of your work experience and qualifications. The following is true about this format. List the specifics of your work experience in reverse chronological order. Includes work, history, and education. Many organizations and human resource departments prefer this method. Combination style resume. Focus on the target position or job. Present your capabilities that are required of that position. Relate your ability to do the job regardless of when the skills were last used. Show research about the position sought. Include job titles and dates of employment. There are different formats for students entering the workforce for the first time. Some formats help people moving from one level of responsibility to higher levels in the same career. Still, other formats are helpful for professionals changing from one. Dealing with awkward points. There may be gaps in your employment history that create tension or awkwardness. If you have such gaps, you may decide that the combination style resume works better to draw less attention to these hiatuses of employment. Careful and creative wording can help present special circumstances in the best possible light. Honesty is the best policy if you are asked to explain times of unemployment for any reason, such as extended illness, disability, incarceration, or just times when you could not find a job. Checklist for success. Does your resume do the following? Clearly present your full formal name. Contain your contact information. Present your work history in an easy-to-understand manner. Give a summary of your educational experience with the institutions and degrees earned. List other experiences you may have that can contribute to success on the job. List your skills, abilities, and qualifications in a clear and organized way. Provide the names of personal references if needed. Case study. Jordan's pen felt too heavy to lift after spending what felt like years on his resume. He was applying for a recently posted senior management position. Unable to lift another finger, Jordan put his head down on his desk and threw in the towel. Cheyenne noticed Jordan and wanted to help refill his creativity engine. Together, they worked on some bright and inspiring phrases. Jordan perked up as ideas spilled out of his brain and breathed life back into his resume. Cheyenne recognized some additional skills that Jordan had not seen in himself, and they added them to his resume. Jordan and Cheyenne had the resume up and ready for action, and it gave Jordan a great boost of confidence. Module 4, Polishing Your Resume. Your resume is the key to open the door to the interview with the employer. When the employer has so many options to choose from, as superficial as it may sound, looks count. Your resume must be sharp-looking, impressive, and stand out from the others. The attention to detail that you stress in your work must be reflected in your documented first impression, your resume. In this module, we will give some tips on how your resume can cause a lasting positive impression, how to handle branding, and other extra touches to set you on the path to success. Creating an attractive package. Your resume needs to have as much personality as you possess. By altering font selections, you can emphasize and highlight details on your document that create the most favorable impression. Experiment and change the fonts on keywords, section titles, and phrases in your resume. Break up the monotony and sameness within the text and let your creativity be obvious. Choose fonts that are both readable and enjoyable. Your uniqueness needs to be clear as you give the documents a final makeover. About branding. A branding statement is an effective promise of the quality you intend to deliver to the employer. At the top of your resume, you will want to make such a promise through a creative slogan that captures the essence of your skills, combined with your personality and passion and the needs in the market you can fill. Some extra touches. Making your resume stand out requires that you pay attention to the quality of paper you use. Texture is an indicator of the attitude your document communicates. A coarse to rough paper can subliminally communicate a reliable and durable, hardworking nature. A smooth and shiny paper can communicate a persuasive and polished communicator. Become aware of the options of paper quality and use that choice to reinforce your brand message. Color is also a great indicator of personality and attitude. Select a paper color that reinforces your branding statement and the tone of the message about yourself. Bright and cheery can be represented by whites and yellows. Reliability and trustworthiness can come through in blue. Each color choice can speak your message without the addition of more words to your resume. Checklist for success. Now you're ready to see if your resume is ready to present to your potential employers. Respond to the following statements with A, yes, B, not sure, C, no. Number 1, does your resume use a variety of fonts? Number 2, does your resume have proper spacing between sections? Number 3, does your resume contain a branding statement? Is your branding statement consistent with the quality of the document? Number 5, does your branding statement communicate your uniqueness? Number 6, does the texture of your paper selection reinforce your branding statement and image? Number 7, does the color of your paper reflect your character and qualities? Case study. Nick polished his resume as he really wanted to impress his boss Penelope. Nick worked like a mad scientist to ensure his skills and experience jumped off his resume. He was looking for a boost up the ladder of success at work. Nick scrubbed his resume until it was squeaky clean and handed it off to his boss. Penelope nearly fell out of her seat as she was unaware of the skills and knowledge Nick possessed. Module 5, Writing a Cover Letter. Cover letters, when introducing a strong, well-prepared resume, should be brief and to the point. They should not be long and redundant with the same content already contained in the resume. This brief attention-getting greeting is intended to be a sample of your business writing skill and an invitation to check out your resume. Types of cover letters. The reason for contacting the company and who you are contacting will help determine the type of cover letter you write. Pay close attention to the requirements of the employer. One of the quickest ways to have your resume discarded is by not following the employer's instructions. If the potential employer specifies the type of information they would like to see in your cover letter, be sure to include it. The following types of cover letters can be used to help secure the job you are seeking. First contact cover letter. A first contact cover letter is one that is used when you are not applying for a particular job. You can use the cover letter as an introduction of your skills. Although this type of cover letter may not produce a great success for you, if you send it at the right time, it could get into the hands of a decision maker who may contact you for an interview. Targeted cover letter. Unlike a first contact cover letter, a targeted cover letter is sent to a specific person applying for a specific job. With an effective presentation of your skills and experience, this cover letter could turn into a strong job prospect. Recommendation cover letter. Of the 3 cover letters mentioned, a recommendation cover letter may be your best chance for turning a job application to an offer. It is similar to a targeted cover letter because you are sending it to a particular person for an advertised position. The one bonus of this type of cover letter is that it includes the name and contact information of someone who is referring you to the company. Creating a template. It does not take special training or skills to create a cover letter template. Understanding its basic components and ensuring effective quality content is what's most important. In addition to utilizing your knowledge of the subject matter, consult best practice samples of cover letters. After all, you do not want just another cover letter that gets thrown to the bottom of the stack. You want a cover letter that grabs the attention of the decision maker and creates an opening for you to present yourself as the most viable candidate. Customizing the template. This cover letter template consists of the necessary information for a solid cover letter. This template is a guideline and not a substitution for a well-planned, customized cover letter for each position you apply for. Contact information should include legal name, street address, city, state, zip code, phone number, and email address if applicable. Today's date, followed by the employer's contact information, name of contact person, title of contact person, company, company street address, city, state, zip code. Salutation: never use the first name of the person you are contacting. Instead, use Dear Mr. or Mrs. last name. Body of the letter. This section of the cover letter should explain to the employer the position for which you are applying. You should also list why you are the best person for the job. Be sure to give a concise but comprehensive presentation of your skills and experience. Spell out how your experience relates to the needs of the company and position. Conclude this letter by thanking the potential employer for their consideration. Let them know how and when you will follow up with them. Closing. Use formal closing such as respectfully yours, sincerely, or best. Signature. If you are sending a mailed letter, include a handwritten and typed signature. If you are sending your cover letter electronically, such as email, only a typed signature is necessary. Checklist for success. Strong cover letters contain the following details. Addressed to a specific person. Use the professional title of the person to whom it is addressed. Brief, about 1/2 page. Mention the name of anyone referring you to that company. Do not appear to be boastful or desperate. Indicate interest in the company. Highlight 2 or 3 eye-catching traits or characteristics you possess. Display confidence as a high-quality candidate for the position. Business-like in tone yet enthusiastic. Attached as one file along with your resume. Case study. Marvin racked his brain trying to create his cover letter. Marvin had trouble letting the words spill out onto the page without the urge to wipe them off again. Jay saw that Marvin was struggling with his words and phrasing. Jay helped Marvin get out of his own way and gave him the Module 6, Creating a Portfolio. Having a collection of your best work available in a portfolio is a great way to not only tell the employer what you are able to do, but also to show them what you have done for others. This is your greatest hits collection of the work of which you have the greatest amount of pride. Quality is valued over quantity in most portfolios. When do I need a portfolio? Portfolios are not only for artists. Writers, accountants, computer programmers, financial planners, website designers, marketing and advertising agents, and models can all benefit from a well-organized portfolio of their best efforts. Anytime a visual presentation of what you have accomplished is possible, a portfolio is the vehicle to present yourself well. Online portfolios can be just as attractive and effective as physical portfolios. Types of portfolios. The 3 major types of portfolios are working, display, and assessment portfolio. The purpose for the portfolio will determine which is most effective. Number 1, working portfolio. Although a working portfolio may contain completed samples of work, it is, as its name implies, one that consists of projects that are in the works. There are many occasions for which this type of portfolio may be best, but applying for a job may not be one of them. Your goal is to stand out from the crowd, not give a mediocre presentation of who you are. Number 2, display portfolio. A display portfolio is one that is used to put your best foot forward. It includes the best samples of work related to the position. Utilizing a display portfolio may be the most suitable for the task of showing the employer that you are confident in your ability to be a part of the success of the company and have previous work to back that up. Number 3, assessment portfolio. Assessment portfolios are generally used as a way of documenting what one has learned. This is not only helpful for a student who is being judged on areas relating to the success of a curriculum, But for professionals looking to advance their career, this is the least effective portfolio. Essential elements. Regardless of the type of portfolio you decide is best for you, there are several essentials that must always be included. If you are creating a physical portfolio, be sure to invest in a quality conservative binder to house the portfolio contents. If you choose an electronic portfolio, be sure you use a neat, non-busy format. The best samples of work that is specific to the position for which you are applying. Text, diagrams, photos, etc. Polished copy of your resume. Checklist for success. A portfolio is a marketing tool that can go a long way if created in an effective manner. Does your portfolio meet the following? Include 3 to 5 samples of your best work related to the position. Have each sheet separated by a plastic sleeve. Spell checked both through a computer program as well as manually. Give the interviewer an accurate picture of who you are and what you have to offer. Have an overall appearance of excellence. Case study. Nathan found himself in a pickle. He was unable to construct a portfolio of his best work. He needed to submit an updated portfolio to a potential client. Nathan paced around the office, but the question still lingered. Jill helped Nathan with the heavy lifting and poured all of Nathan's stunning achievements and files into a portfolio that would make any happy. Module 7, Networking Skills. Many people consider networking to be a 4-letter word. But the fact is, efficient networking can be the difference between applying for a job and applying and getting a job. You are not expected to have all the answers when it comes to networking, but knowing where to get those answers can be critical during your job search. What is networking? Networking is the art of making social contacts in your spheres of influence. It begins where you are and letting the closest to you know your interests and goals. As you communicate enthusiastically your vision and goals for gaining the job of your dreams, your social network of friends, family, and acquaintances become extra pairs of eyes and ears. They know people that may be interested in what you have to offer. Through the hundreds of social contacts you have through family, religious affiliations, school, friends, and neighbors, you are immediately in contact with hundreds and thousands of people in a short period of time. Getting a conversation started. Begin by talking to family members, make phone calls, and catching up on family news. Ask them with genuine interest how they are and what they have been doing. Let them know your plans and how excited you are about the opportunities that are opening up to you. Ask them to keep an eye out for anyone who may need someone with your skills and abilities. Greet neighbors who may be out in their yard. Stop by and say hi. Ask questions about their family and work life. Let them know of your plans to seek a new career direction. Ask them to let you know of any opportunities they become aware of for someone who needs a person with your qualifications. Make a list of everyone you know. Use numbers in your cell phone. Consult rosters and directories of religious organizations and Rotary Club. Talk with other parents at local PTA meetings. Make a target goal to share your vision and goal with at least 10 people per day. But I'm so nervous. Fear is a natural emotion that we all face. Those who succeed are not people who do not have fear. They are ones who learn the trick of feeling the fear and doing it anyway, according to motivational speaker and writer Jack Canfield. You cannot allow your fear to do the driving. Approach your fear as if it were a small child and acknowledge that what you are doing is a bit frightening. Then advise your fear that you intend to go for it anyway. The reality is that the worst thing that can happen is already true. You do not have a job now. If you get rejected, you still do not have a job, so little has changed. This means that life can only get better. This attitude will help calm fears and allow you to take charge of them. Wrapping up and moving on. While you are doing the work of networking, make sure you carry business cards wherever you go. Make exchanging business cards a normal part of your day. Say something such as, "Here, let me leave you with my contact information. If you hear of any opportunities like the ones we have been talking about, be sure to let me know." Be receptive if they wish to exchange cards with you as well. Avoid talking about the reason for leaving your last position or how long you have been unemployed. Also, it is not productive to talk about economic needs and stress you are going through while you are looking for a job. The focus needs to be on communicating your vision and your decision to do something about it. Case study. Victor generally shied away and hid in the shadows so he could avoid talking to his coworkers. Victor's manager, Craig, saw this and offered to help. Craig helped Victor realize that being nervous was normal, and once you see that, it was easier to move forward. He asked Victor, "What's the worst that could happen?" Victor thought about it and soon realized. Module 8, Skills for Success. Organization comes in several forms. Whether it's properly filing documentation or being on time for a task, this characteristic is a crucial skill to your success. Keeping a positive attitude will help you with your skill development. It is also very important to keep your skills sharp, especially when they are not being utilized on a full-time basis. Being organized. Success in your quest to find the job of your dreams depends a great deal on your ability to be organized. You must know each day what it is you need to do in order to gain the next interview that could open the door to the opportunity you are seeking. Your time and resources are limited, and you must maintain both motivation and organization in your effort to gain employment. Both a calendar and a list for each day can go a long way to keeping you on track toward your goal, becoming a punctual person. Being on time is a highly important habit to have in the business world. Delivery services, transportation services, emergency response units, and many other workers face serious and life-threatening consequences if they are not on time. In an agricultural economy, the cow cares little if the farmer arrives 15 minutes late to milk it. A plane that does not arrive on time can cause hundreds of people to miss appointments and business opportunities in the community. Punctuality and the ability to meet deadlines is one of the distinguishing characteristics of successful people in business. I can do this. One of the biggest obstacles in the way of your success is discouragement. At the heart of discouragement lies self-doubt. The voice inside your head that whispers, "You'll never make it, you might as well give up, and you'll never amount to anything," are all lies. The truth is, you can do this. It does not come easy in many cases. It does require work. You need to take a chance and overcome your fears and learn to accept no as an answer. Every time you hear no, say, "Next." If you keep searching, you will find the job your skills and abilities match. The only way you won't is if you quit looking. Important etiquette points. Good manners go a long way in making a good impression on a potential employer. Make proper eye contact. Say please and thank you during the interview. Greet people with a friendly and firm handshake. Use good posture by sitting up properly in the chair during the interview. Write thank you notes to those who have been helpful and encouraging in the job search process. All these habits can build your image as a person of success. Case study. John was up against the clock again. He always seemed to be running in circles. Any thought of being on time flew out the window as soon as he'd been given a task. John needed help. Mary marched right into John's office with a plan in her hand. Mary laid down the plan in Module 9, Where to Look. A good job means nothing if you don't know where to find it. This module will give insight into sources to consider when searching for employment opportunities. Some people say looking for a job will be the hardest job you will ever have. The obvious places. Employers make their positions and job openings known many times through classified ads in local newspapers. They also post openings on websites such as www.workopolis.com and www.monster.com. These easy-access advertisements are a good place to start. Because of their obvious nature, they also attract the high volume of responses and make the competition for these positions even more intense. The hidden job market. While the classified ads and other mass media provide a place where companies can draw a large sample of lower-skilled workers from the labor pool, many more desirable positions are not publicly advertised. Companies seeking highly skilled workers to fill specific areas of responsibility may employ recruiters and headhunters to find talent. By contacting the Human Resources Department of companies in the industry you would like to work, you can gain access to the internally communicated list of job openings. You may ask to send your resume directly to the HR department of a company for whom you would like to work. About cold calling. Some job seekers, in order to keep active in the job search, resort to cold calling companies and ask if they are hiring. This practice is highly ineffective and should be discouraged as a part of a successful job hunting strategy. For the company receiving the call, it costs them time and money to answer your question whether they may be interested or not. It makes you appear desperate and less desirable of a candidate. Your time is much better spent networking with people in the industry and building up social contacts that will lead to a job more naturally when one opens up. Which of the following ways would be more effective in starting a new relationship with you? A person of the opposite sex calls randomly and asks if you are single. You get an email from a stranger asking to meet for coffee. You receive a package in the mail with a video from a stranger talking about themselves, their favorite activities, and what they are looking for in a partner. A friend introduces you to someone who he believes you would be interested in. Companies are no different. A referral from a friend is the best way to get an interview. Cold calling rarely ends in a lasting professional relationship. The power of networking. Networking is clearly better than cold calling when searching for a job. Here are some advantages of networking. Increases your confidence, saves time and energy going to interviews with low potential, helps you find a job with the kind of people you already know and enjoy, helps you get more interviews in less time, multiplies your efforts by having a team of people looking out for your interests. Case study. Maud searched and searched but was not seeing any great leads for a new job. With her thinking cap on, she scrolled through page after page of job openings. Eagle-eyed Christine opened up her laptop and joined in on Maud's search and offered to help her in the job search. Maud agreed that two heads would be better than one. They both sat there for hours but still could not really find anything promising. Christine then suggested Maud to just call businesses in her area. Maud thought about it and decided all she had to lose. Module 10, Understanding the Interview. The interview is a very important part of the job search process that you should focus on. How you perform during the interview could make the difference between you getting the job and walking home empty-handed. Types of interviews. Direct interview. This interview generally just involves the candidate and the hiring manager. It is a relatively rigid format of which the hiring manager relies upon his or her straightforward questions to acquire all of the information he or she wants to know about you. Behavioral interview. The behavioral interview is one that focuses more on the candidate's problem-solving skills, leadership, conflict resolution, stress management, etc. The questions are usually asked in the format that requires the candidate to think of specific examples to prove the point. The questions are many times phrased as, "Tell me about a time when," or "What would you do if?" This type of interview may be considered a bit more intense than a direct interview. Group interview. Employers use group interviews to gauge how well candidates interact with each other. Although interviewing with other candidates may be overwhelming, if you keep track of the interviewer to make sure you don't miss out on any important signals, you may prove to be a viable candidate. Panel interview. A panel interview consists of several representatives of the company. Their job is to judge what you say as well as your actions. The best way to master such an interview is to remain calm at all times and be mindful of your body language, the words you speak and the meaning those words give. What to expect. Going into the interview with confidence depends on knowing what to expect and being prepared to respond to the situations you face with security and self-assurance. Interviewees can expect to greet the employer or hiring manager with a cordial handshake and be invited to sit for the interview. They can also be expected to answer questions about their qualifications and experience. Employers will expect the candidate to have informed questions that reflect both interest and some prior knowledge of the company and the nature of the work. It is also reasonable to expect a delay in the decision to hire. Most interviews do not result in an immediate decision. About behavioral questions. When you enter into an interview, it is vital to know what kinds of questions you can expect to be asked as well as how to handle potential questions that may be inappropriate for the job interview context. The use of behavioral questions is a tool used by many employers to understand your thought process when confronted with certain situations. Many of these questions begin with, "Tell me a time when," about knowledge questions. Specific questions about knowledge related to the job and career may intimidate some candidates. It may be acceptable to reply that you do not know, but are great at learning new information and resourceful enough to find the answer if given the opportunity. Both question of behavior and knowledge can either make or break your interview. Case study. Isabel was quickly losing steam in her search for a better job. She was able to get the initial interview but was never called back. Isabel knows she has lots of experience and a unique skill set, but always found the interview process a challenge. Her coworker Paul thought he held the solution to Isabel's long journey. Paul offered to coach her on some great interviewing tricks. Paul gave Isabel a breakdown on the general types of questions and how they are graded. Together, they practiced, and Isabel was soon seeing the mistakes she made in the past and now able to avoid them with ease. With Module 11, Interview Skills. Going into an interview without preparation is never advisable. The goal is to do everything within your power to present yourself as the best candidate for the job. Dressing the part and practicing the way you will answer and ask questions is vital to the success of the interview. Dressing for success. From the first handshake to final farewell, you are going to be evaluated on your poise, appearance, posture, skills, abilities, and persuasiveness. Your ability to respond to pressure and even your own mistakes will tell the employer much about the kind of person you are. Answering questions. The ability to answer a question well requires good listening skills as well as speaking ability. Anticipating the kind of questions you will be asked helps prepare you for the interview. Before answering, make sure you understand the question completely. Feel free to ask for clarification of any part of the question you may not understand. If you do not know the answer to that question, be prepared to respond in a way that does not show a lack of confidence or ability to obtain an answer. Know your boundaries and what kinds of questions you should or should not answer. Make your answers brief and to the point. Do not give far more information than the question itself requires. Asking questions. Asking pertinent questions is a great way to gain the respect of the employer and to demonstrate that you have an awareness of the nature of the company and the kind of work they do. Relevant questions demonstrate a curiosity and awareness that they are not only interviewing you, but you are interviewing them. The employer-employee relationship is not one-sided. Your comfort and happiness in the job is just as important as their satisfaction with you as a member of the team. Following up. Following up after an interview is one of the important yet forgotten acts of the job search process. Not only is it courteous to thank the person you interviewed with for their time, but following up is a very good way to reiterate your interest in the position without being a nuisance. Many ask the question of how they should follow up with the interviewer. This depends on several factors. If at some point during your conversation the interviewer says, "The best way to reach me is," then you want to adhere to the request. It is not okay to disregard the interviewer's request to be emailed and follow up with a phone call because you think that it shows more drive. If the interviewer does not specify a method of contact and you have a business card with an email address and phone number, you may want to consider the least intrusive method: email. If the only information you have is a phone number, make a quick but impactful call. Case study. Zane was stressed. He would rather run a mile backwards than march into another interview room. Leah could see the stress on Zane's face and came to his rescue. She was able to put a spotlight on his problems that showed him what hid underneath his fear. Zane discovered a hidden anxiety problem right under his nose. Leah had just the ticket to break Zane free from his trouble. She was able to enlighten him in the aspects of answering and asking questions during an interview. These little tricks opened the door to a glowing interview, and with a little push in the right direction, he bought himself a new suit. Zane was amazed at the feeling he had when wearing it. He was miles away from the old Zane and was now